What's happening? Of course, you know it's your boy B Hot Radio Shout. And as always, I got my podcast partner off in this thing, DJ Toomp. What's good with it, boss?
ATL Fool, man. Y'all know what it is. What's happening? How you doing, brother?
Hey, Toomp. Feeling good, feeling great. Today we got a special guest off in this thing. The legend himself, KLC. What's good with it, boss?
KLC.
Oh, it's all good. It's all legendary shit in here.
Come on, man. Come on.
You know what? First thing, let me ask, what does KLC mean?
Man. Kick It Live Craig.
Kick It Live Craig.
I get it from
That's
Chill Rock, Breaking Bells.
Wow.
Because I used to
produced by Mantronic. Wow.
Because I used to always love to scratch that bum right about now. Bum bum bum. Kicking it live. I used to always fuck
The
that
rolling
ball
machine,
up.
better known as the rolling 808.
808.
The king of the beats. We call Mantronic. And I am Chill Rock. Rock. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's when you know, behind. That's when you know.
In the air.
Hey, man.
Like you just Come on, man.
Listen.
That's my Mantronic. Larry Smith is my biggest influence.
Definitely. All day.
They're my favorite producers ever. And all time in hip hop. Like,
What all production did they do?
Woo.
So y'all gonna have to score me right now.
Well, we gonna start with Larry Smith, man.
Oh, yeah.
First, Larry was basically more of an R&B producer, a musician. But man, you could go to Run DMC's first album, Houdini Back in Black album, like One Love, 5 Minutes of Funk, and all that shit. A sound that cannot be duplicated.
Yeah.
Every producer has sampled or tried to replay those songs, but just something that Larry, cause he was an engineer at the same time, right?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole documentary.
And he played
on him.
bass.
Yeah.
He
5 minutes
was
of
a
funk.
musician.
Boom. Crazy. Sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's no longer with us. Larry Smith.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I definitely would have drugged him down here for his show. Come on, Larry Smith.
Okay.
Rest in peace, brother.
We got to get straight to it because KL, he came in with a question too.
Ooh, okay.
And he said he had to get it off his chest. And we've been waiting to hear this question for a minute now.
Man, it's
Ooh,
well, I know you saw Yeezy himself on Drink Champ, right? You know where I'm going with this.
I heard it coming, man. Okay, yeah,
And my
I saw
thing
it.
is like,
I definitely saw it. Yes, sir.
my thing is like, the Just Blaze thing.
Whew. Yeah, and that's my guy.
And I'm not
too.
saying if it's who's the best and who did what. I just want to know, like, did you really think it was appropriate?
Straight up, man, I love both of those guys, but I wouldn't have done it like that. Even if I felt that way about Just Blaze, I wouldn't have done it like that, man.
Right.
And luckily I don't. And he's definitely an innovative producer to me. You know what I mean? So whatever dude may have with him is I would love to know what that is, because it's got to be beyond that.
Right.
You know, it's got to be something else for a person to really just knowing that the whole world is gonna see and hear this. You know what I mean? So I would love to really pick dude brain and even Just Blaze. Say, hey man, did something happen around that time that dude might still be upset about?
Right. I don't know, because I even watched Jay commented after that. He said his thought about it, because he was like, that was the cohesiveness of the entire album. That's why it went that direction. Not saying who copied what, but
now that makes sense right there. And shout out to my man Bink. That's why sometimes, and Bink, you know, he a hat boy. Sometimes he'll stand on certain shit.
I was gonna slide Bink off in here too.
I'd be like, come on, Bink, man. No, it ain't. He was like, no, dude, fuck that. But that's him. But I love him though, and we'll be on the phone for hours, man, till our shit go dead sometime, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You gotta love him for that, because that's one thing that I really, really, You know, even like with Kanye, right?
Right.
It wouldn't have been him if he wouldn't have did that. It's just him.
Yeah.
And Bink is the same way.
Yeah.
Bink is the same way.
Yeah, Bink would have done the same thing on the interview too. We gonna get
Bink probably would have been a little more brutal.
Yeah, he definitely would have. Yeah.
You know, he spares no feelings on his thoughts and opinion on shit.
Yeah.
But
he's been standing on it for a while too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what part of it is. A lot of it comes when people speak of the blueprint and they'll name Kanye and Blaze, but sometimes he can go unnoticed or unnamed. They won't mention his name when you mention the blueprint.
Right.
He's definitely a part of setting that whole foundation and that platform for that sound. You know what I mean? I think, but like you say, it may have been a cohesive task to create this soulful, and chop up soul samples through the album.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I say, man, yeah, it was rather brutal, man, the way Ye let it loose. But I mean, if that's how you feel, boy, we can't knock that.
Right. And it's no question. It's no question about the talent, because all three of them motherfuckers are monsters.
Yes, they are.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just to the point to where, like, it's certain things when you approach it, and it seemed like Kanye he been waiting to say that shit.
Yeah, and that's what I mean when I say it's got to be it's got to be something else, because like you say, like to this day, I mean, Breathe, like that's still one of the hardest hip hop tracks, period.
And when
that we did for Fab.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was.
And when you think when you think of the right, and when you think even like the blueprint is like, PSA probably is the most, when you think of the blueprint, that is like it's gonna be an open the show or close the show record.
Oh man, Jay can't leave the stage without doing that song. Period. He must do that song before he leaves the building. Yeah. You're right.
But it comes to a point,
you know which one PSA is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Sure, okay.
Allow for me to reintroduce myself.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, but you even look, you look at a motherfucker like Bink, right? When I first started hearing Ross' first albums with the Justice League, I thought it was him.
Yeah. Yeah. A few people did. He definitely feels a certain way about the league.
Well, see, okay, let me jump in here, fellas, because I have to say this. With y'all mentioning Bink like that, I love it because that's a name that I wasn't just 100% familiar with, and that's why you have to say these names.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
Watching that Kanye West interview, I saw him mention the Toomp track once or twice. When you heard him speaking on your tracks, what were your thoughts on that stuff, Toomp?
It was great, actually, just even there, because, everybody be asking me about Dream Channel. I was like, man, them dudes don't know me over there.
Oh, please.
You know what I mean? But, shout out to them, too, man.
Yeah,
Great platform. I love what they doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, him and DJ. EFN, yeah. I think he's out of Florida, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't think I ever met him. I might have met him back in the Luke days, maybe.
You're a good dude.
But, I can tell you good people. Yeah. So is Nori. It was funny because when Nori said he mentioned Big Brother, he's like, that was one of his favorite joints. I was like, oh, okay, that's a Toomp track.
Exactly.
Then they brought up Can't Tell Me Nothing. It was just good because my phone rung off the hook. I hadn't even seen the interview yet, but of course everybody was like, man, you ain't mentioned your name or whatever. But I'm going to tell you what was funny though.
Talk to me.
When I was watching it, I was like, oh shit, boy, Ye got on his gloves on this one. Let me see what did he say about me?
Right.
I was like, I don't think he have any reason to chop my head off. But when he finally said it, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was like, oh man, I don't think he have anything negative to say about your boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool, man. It was a great shout out, man. Just to know that I was fresh on his mind when he thought of that song. Can't Tell Me Nothing,
With both of y'all having platinum artists that y'all help get straight to the top, but then also them helping to brand y'all as the number one producers that were helping y'all get there. What do you feel like when Toomp is on the beat, KL on the track being said in these songs? What did that do for y'all brand, and how did that help y'all to be able to, continue in y'all's career versus other producers that we don't know who the hell they are?
It's like with me is I think when C Murder did Down for My Niggas for Snoop, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was probably like, now Big Ed gave me a big ass shout out on his song when he had said KL dropped the bond tracks like a terrorist on Amtrak.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nigga snap.
Yeah, he might have let one out. Yeah.
When C on Down for My Niggas, like KLC made the beat hitting hard like Bert.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that is like that one record that I can say that if a motherfucker didn't know me,
Oh yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
Now, as
That's
far as
still
me
one of the-
speaking on him,
Yeah.
it go back to Shy D.
Ooh.
Ah, okay. Wow, I ain't know you gonna take
Come on, man.
Come on with that
Nah.
in the hairline then.
So
boy.
look.
I love it.
But I'm just telling you, like,
Shady, yeah, he definitely
like,
shout us out. Mm-hmm.
man, look, when it came down to tune,
Yeah.
I mean, like, nigga, I was breakdancing, nigga, when Shy D was dropping records.
Wow.
So, let alone when I first seen him on what album cover that was? You had the
Correct,
motherfucking
yeah.
head.
Yeah, they let us
The
on that.
grimp.
Yeah, on yeah.
Right. So, it's like when I saw that, because I'm trying to figure out.
It was very rare that a rapper let's put his DJ producer on the album
Right,
cover.
right.
Well, you know what? We saw Jeff and it was Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince,
Yeah.
but even though it was just MC Shy D,
Yeah.
hey man, when he said, "Hey man, y'all want to get on the album cover?" Man, that shit just. I didn't think he would. My plans wasn't even to be on the album cover.
Yeah.
Right.
We was just at the photo shoot. He was like, "Man, we gonna go get some Georgia Bulldog gear." And some,
Right.
And yeah, bro, I wouldn't expect to be on that album cover. That's when
God.
I knew, like, okay, the dude here really looking out, trying
Yeah.
to give niggas some juice. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Shy D.
And see, that was my respect in just watching Tomb transition
Yeah.
from coming from 130 BPMs
Right.
to what he doing now. That's a huge ass transition.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is a huge transition, my nigga. That's not something that you can just do like that. It just things like when it's in you,
That's real shit,
it's just
okay?
in you, my nigga.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it was. You know, it's like just watching that alone on him. And I'm buying these records. You know, what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. I thought fucking Shy D was from Miami at first, nigga.
Yeah. Folks thought I was from Miami for a minute.
Yeah.
We were down there so much, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Because you know Luke signing everything, and
Right.
you know it. Skywalker Records, you know it was a Miami, Florida based label. So pretty much everything he signed was from that.
So I'ma need your ear and eyes from a producer standpoint. When you saw Beats by the Pound going crazy in 1997,
Yes, sir.
97 is that year that they put out 1 billion records in 1 year.
Yes,
That was
sir.
at 98.
98.
98.
97 was the setup.
Okay, the setup was 97. Yeah, okay.
Set up 97 to 98 going crazy. What was your eyes and ears seeing, and what was going through your mind when you saw hell breaking loose?
First, I was like, okay, I think when I saw Master P on, it was on Rap City, the Mr. Ice Cream Man video, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And people was telling me a lot about the underground stuff he was doing before then. But man, when I noticed all them records just coming out back to back, same label, I'm seeing this Tank. And then I'm seeing like, oh shit, Beats by the Pound, who the hell are they, man? Like, straight up, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, man, I wouldn't mind going out there just to see it. What the hell they doing, man? Who are these cats? And I started seeing, of course, back in the day we could read the credits. I'm like,
Right.
okay, KLC, Moby Dick, and I'm seeing all these different cats on here. I'm like, okay, it's a squad of them niggas.
Yeah.
And none of these shit sound alike. That's what I was tripping off of. For all these records coming out, you can't say that none of them sound alike. Shout out to Manny Fresh, same
Yeah.
way.
Right.
All these back-to-backs. I'm talking about albums produced with the collaboration albums. We talking about for soundtracks, for each artist. None of them shit sound alike, bruh. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, them boys in New Orleans ain't playing. Because we never really knew too many producers from down there, you know what I mean? And that's when I knew, like, okay, they got some special shit going. Of course, we always knew it for the music capital, bands and shit like that. But of course, with bands, you should have known there was going to be some hot producers around there cooking up some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I was like, man, I was like, one day I'm going to finally meet these cats, man, But I can't remember when we first met, but when I did, I was just like, damn, boy, that's him. That's dude.
I don't remember. Was it at?
It might have been through Keno, maybe. Keno might have introduced us. I don't know. It might have been before that.
Was it at one of Luda parties?
You know what? It might have been that red light district.
Red light. That's what it was. That's what it was. It was a red light district party.
I think it was off of Northside Drive somewhere, man. It was a nice party too. Yeah, right.
It was one of the parties. I think it was one of the Luda parties.
Yeah, that's right. You did that move, bitch. Oh my God. Come on, man. This nigga right here.
Answer me this, KL. Back to what you just said about Kanye, between Kanye, Just Blaze, and Bank. Did y'all ever have any of that kind of friction going on with Beats by the Pound, with y'all creating y'all sound, or was it just all camaraderie and brotherly love going on in that thing?
Nah, it was more like all of us could get down.
Yeah.
But we all have this thing, like when we do a Beats by the Pound productive record together. It's always understood that, well, you know what? KL gonna do the drums. Craig B gonna do the bass line. Odell gonna do the keys with Moby. You know what I'm saying?
Real structure, bro.
And the thing about it is that when we never did get in the way, and even like I told you when we did the Kick Door record with Pimp.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that Pimp noticed about all of us. To like, soon as I walked in the door, Pimp words were, KL, come do that drum shit you do, Nick. Because like he could have did it himself.
Right.
Yeah.
He could have did it himself.
Yeah.
But he was like, come do that.
Yeah.
Right.
But we never had like a friction to where like, cause it was too many projects to where we was able to focus, all of us focus on producing every song together on the album. Because while I'm doing this here, somebody had to be working with another artist over there. So like if we working on a Mystical record, if I'm at the end of finishing up Mystical record, somebody's already starting on Fiend
album. That's what you call an operation, man.
So we wasn't in the way.
Y'all boy could have been some dope boys, man.
It was called Beats by the Pound.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I always thought it was.
That sounds so, honestly, man, and I'm going to tell you, KL, you wouldn't believe how many producers out here have tried to really put a squad together like that, man, and it just don't work, man. Only a few of them, I can say a few of them worked out there, but, man, every producer who done got that bag done tried to round up, okay, we going to have this musician, but somewhere that shit just clashed. But, bro, to see that y'all got that far and put out that many albums without any BS in the equation.
But you know what people don't, what they don't understand is that everybody in the Pound played an instrument. Well, I played drums. I marched.
Okay.
I didn't do concert. I marched.
Wow.
Yeah.
Moby played mellophone. Craig B played sax. Odell played keys. He the fingers of the group. So it's just like the shit we were doing, we was doing it not even thinking about making money. We just wanted to do this shit.
It was just fun, man. It was a hobby. Yeah,
right.
I can see that.
And that's how it was.
Damn.
Anybody. And then me and Craig B, you know, all the greatest producers have a DJ background any fucking way.
Yeah.
And I'm just throwing that out there.
Definitely. No, you already know. 90% of us do.
Yeah. So, but it's just the fact, like when you have, and the way we came together, it only started to like when I first went up there, I didn't go up there to Sound No Limit. You know, I just never been on the west coast of California before. That's why I took the trip, because I just wanted to go see
what the hell was going on. Yeah.
Right. And when I went up there, a lot of niggas who records out playing in the club, I'm like, you know, P knew these niggas. Like, he bought me by EA Ski. I'm like, man, this fucking Ski.
Yeah, Ski. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Shout out
Like,
to Ski. Yeah,
this nigga,
sure.
I'm playing fucking Spice One shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, man, you got cats like Ant Banks and EA Ski and them cats, man. We were putting them on the level of Dr. Dre back then.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, shout out to all y'all. We down south, we were looking at them niggas, all them. We put all of them and Dr. Dre in the same category.
Tier.
In the same, yes.
As a matter of fact, Ski was the one that pretty much gave a confirmation that I'm gonna stay rocking with P because, like what you said, like I'm playing fucking Spice One shit.
Yeah.
You know, other than bounce music at that time when bounce dominated New Orleans music, Spice One was one of the only rappers that was getting play.
Oh, like a West Coast getting played down there?
Yeah.
Wow.
In the midst of bounce music, nigga.
That's crazy.
So, but like you said, like when I went there and he brought me up there and we pulled up by Ski, I'm like, man, fuck. I'm like, man, I'm fucking playing. I just sampled this nigga gunshot, that 12 gauge blade. I'm sampling his drums and he pulled up and that's when that's when Ski he had the 3000. And he gave me some tips on that bitch. And that, you know, I already had one. No, I had the 60.
60, yeah.
He just got the 3.
Okay.
And he gave me tips on that bitch. You know, Ski put me on just a short time. You know, I was up there for a year, but I didn't really get to work with him. But Ski.
What part of Cali were y'all in?
We was in Richmond.
Richmond,
okay. The whole Bay Area.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
y'all was in the midst of all that shit. That's crazy.
Ski, you know,
so around that time, what the New Orleans scene was still kind of bubbling as far as the rap shit. You know, as far as y'all being out there on that side of town, like what was it that?
What part?
When y'all was in Richmond.
As far as y'all being in Richmond, instead of being in New Orleans, like was it really popping more out there on that side than New Orleans around that time, or?
Well, one thing I could say about the Bay, that's where P get the independency from, the independent game from.
Okay.
Cause you know P got the game from E40 Uncle.
Okay, gotcha.
And
you say his uncle?
Yeah, E40 Uncle. What's the name? Charles? Not Sir Charles. It was something Charles. But that's where P get the game from. As far as being on that independent, he took that and bought it here.
Okay.
Because when they talk about the independency of No Limit, it came from the Bay.
Okay.
And he just took it and bought it here.
So selling records out the trunk, like they were saying Too Short back in the day.
Right.
It's like,
really,
niggas were really selling their records out the trunk, for real.
Yeah,
okay.
and like I said, like, you know, like Ski was a big part of my decisions of staying with No Limit because, like you said, I'm reading this nigga credits and I'm like, he know this dude.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, okay, if you know him, so you have a plug with the rest of them, you know. And then I met E40 and Short Dog and, you know, all of these big niggas, you know what I'm saying? You know, Richie, and all of them. It's like, all right, fuck it. That gave me my confirmation. That gave me my confirmation.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm a rocker. Even though when we got there, he had jackets made for us. As soon as we stepped off the plane, put our name on them bitches.
You did us the same way, man. With the Skywalker man on the back.
Yeah.
Listen, man, that shit really made you feel like you're part of the company, man.
He made you
It was like our Rockefeller
shit.
chain back then. To have that jacket with your name engraved on there. With the, man, you walk in any club or skating rink, nigga, you got juice.
My God.
Def Jam jacket. You remember you see the Def Jam jacket, you be like, oh shit, who is that?
Answer me this though. What you about to say, KL?
No. That was it. Like what Toon was saying. Like EA Ski, all of them, EA Ski, Bink, and all of these. Like, you gotta give them their props, man. Like they've been doing this shit.
With y'all being you in Miami, KL, you was in Richmond. What was it like when y'all came back home to y'all respective hometowns and started to move the culture forward in terms of the sound that we had in the game?
That's interesting, man. It's wild because I left here on some East Coast like hip hop shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When me and Raheem was doing our stuff, we were kind of trying to emulate kind of the LLs and some of that Rick Rubin type shit.
Yeah.
Right.
But when I got down to Miami, that's when I started hearing about Magic, because that's when Magic Mike used to be with Clay D.
Yeah. Ooh.
Vision Records. Then you have this guy named Eric. I can't think of Eric's last name, but then you had it was a few labels. You had Luke, you had Foresight Records, which was out of Lauderdale, and then you had Base Station Records. It was a guy named Roberto. He was a big time dope boy down there, Cuban. And he had Give a DJ a Break and all them little songs like that was on his label or whatnot. So I ended up turning my BPM up. I started going faster.
Yeah.
And just being down there in that whole lifestyle and just seeing that more people wanted to dance. You know what I mean? Because I'll say around, let me see, me and Raheem, that was 85, 86, and let's say 87, 88 was with Shadi, and like I said, going down in Miami. But that's when Two Live Crew and all them started popping off. LaWarn Love. Ooh. And just a whole lot of stuff from Florida with that BPM, like you say, in the 130 BPM. So I just adapted to that whole lifestyle and the vibe of what I was getting down there. But definitely, I left Atlanta on some real hip hop shit, but ended up speeding the whole BPM went up when I went down there.
And it's ironic that when you got up there, Atlanta started adapting to that sound.
Yeah, and when I brought it, there you go. Thank you. When I came back up here around 92?
Yeah.
That's when I got with Lil Jon, 93. Yeah, between 98, I say between 95 I got with Lil Jon. And that's when we did Shawty Freak a little something, because I was starting to do a lot of bass stuff around that time. So I brought that back up here, the up-tempo, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was really like Florida definitely played an influence on my sound changing, because I definitely brought those vibes when I got back up here. Yeah.
What about you, KL?
What I noticed is that they used in the Bay on the West Coast, they used the 808 differently than how we used it. Totally different. Like, there was more like what they ate, it was definitely slowed up. And there was more using like the maracas and the claves and having that
the
cowbells, the percussion part of it, to where you was able to hear that boom, to us it was just straight boom. It was just kicks and snares.
Yeah, that was it. Beat driven.
Yeah.
Kicks and snares, but they used every part of that motherfucking 808 in the Bay. The rim shot. And then, like, the rim shot, we use it as more of like a snare, like in Rock the Bells. But them, no, they use that shit as a percussion part, like cowbell, the maracas, the rim shot, you know what I'm saying? And all of them different, the shakers and the hand claps and all. They was just all around the beat. They just weren't hitting at the same time. You had boom, boom, boom. And then they bass line. That's when I really put me on using like a lot of Moog shit.
Yeah.
And records.
And that was like kind of like, that's that Bay Area, like when you think about that Too Short, all that Ant Banks and stuff like that. Yeah, I started getting more into the keyboards around that time myself. Yeah. That sound really just took over.
That's when I really met DJ Darryl. That did it. You know, Darryl, he did Keep Your Head Up for Pac. And when I got with Darryl, and he ran me some shit. Matter of fact, Darryl and K-Lou. Because K-Lou is where we did all of the recording at on the Bay. And that's what we did. As a matter of fact, that's what we did the Ice Cream Man album at. And with K-Lou and cause that was the first studio that we went to that he had a big ass board. You know what I'm saying? And we went up in there and I'm like, all right, cool. And when we did the Ice Cream Man album, the Bay, they didn't use the bass how we use the bass. The way we use the bass, we opening that bitch all the way up. We want the ring. We want the ring till it stops.
Yeah. That
put
decay.
all that decay in that bitch. That's why when you listen to the Ice Cream Man,
decay boy.
Right. That's why when you listen to the Ice Cream Man, it have that one drop in it. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And then just that one drop, I'm like, oh yeah, we good. Nah. Because one thing about the South, where we from, is like, and truthfully, with us, before you're gonna hear, you're gonna move. We're gonna they wanna move before they hear what you're saying. We wasn't like the lyrical content of it is like, okay, cool, these niggas rapping their ass off, but fuck, the motherfuckers ready to dance.
Yeah.
Like, we got skating rings down here. And we got motherfucking subwoofers. We got fucking car shops that put fucking 10 woofers in the car, nigga.
And I'm gonna tell you, to hear you and it's so refreshing to hear you say that, because I had to remind somebody that it ain't. I mean, not to shit on what's a lot of stuff that's out here right now, but a lot of stuff we made that back then are dope instrumentals right now. Right now, dope instrumentals to where you'll hear them in the background on commercials right now because I just can't get away from them.
You Don't Know Me every Sunday on the radio.
Yeah. Right. So like you say, man, the beat and the music had to move people first.
Right.
That's where we come from. But a lot of cats, and that's the pressure that was on us. We didn't even know it. It's that the beat got to grab first. Before they hear what this rapper says, this beat got to catch your ass in the first 10 seconds.
Off top.
This is my question though. With New Orleans having a bounce scene and Atlanta having a booty shake scene and stuff like that, the sounds that y'all were bringing in was taking it in different directions to the point to where folks would bite y'all styles.
Right.
How did y'all feel about the sound that y'all were bringing into the game and the direction that y'all was taking the music in the South?
Man, for real, I don't know how he would answer this, but we were just doing what we do, man. We really didn't even know that we was even making history. We was just doing our shit. But one thing we must say though is the influence of, like you say, because we was bouncing and ass shaking either way, but ours was just faster.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was a faster tempo. And then we had a lot of dance groups down here too.
Right.
You know, out there, APR, Guess, and all them cats, you know, Yeek and the whole Yeek movement. So that way the shit that we had that was 133 was sped up to really 150 for the talent shows.
Damn.
Yeah.
Just so niggas could get their dance routine off. So, and really, that's why you start hearing a lot of that kilo stuff start being faster. Like, you start hearing records from here like at 142, which was fast.
Right.
And that's when the New York folks used to be complaining all the time, like, man, that shit's too fast. I don't want to play none of that. You know, we don't want to get sweaty.
Well, it's like we make ultimate club music. You know, just like we were just saying, like in the South, you have to make a move before they want to hear what you have to say.
That's right. Because
when they go out, they going out to get musty and sweaty.
Yeah.
That's when motherfuckers went to dances to dance.
Facts.
That's when they went to dances and events to actually dance. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, then it will catch on lyrically later, because just think about it. You're just being honest, man. It's like you never heard a beat looking for the right lyrics, but you always heard the right lyrics looking for the right beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
That's a good ass point.
Hey, bro, I love that analogy. You could have said it. You couldn't have said that shit no better.
And it's truthful though, my nigga.
That's 100% right.
So it's like when we sit up here and do these things, man, it's like you look at from Florida to Mississippi to Louisiana to Atlanta, you know, to Texas. It's just something about bass, my nigga. The further you go up, the lesser it become.
That's true.
The further you go up, the less it become. Like, I've never seen nowhere. It touched LA, because I ain't gonna lie, them motherfucking NWA album, Dre had that shit ringing.
Yeah, Dre had the 808 hitting back.
He was not holding back with that shit.
And DJ Yella.
Right. But it's like I said, my nigga, like the further you up, you didn't see them doing the custom sound in cars like we do it here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So motherfucker had to actually get extra shit in their cars welded down to hold that.
Yeah.
They changing out window panes because glass will fucking break.
Yep. New brackets for your trunk.
Right.
I mean, niggas' trunk used to pop open sometime when that shit get hidden. You know what I mean?
When we did music back then, even now, we made it for every element that a person wanna rock with it. Because if he in his whip going to whatever's popping, they gonna hear him coming.
Yeah.
Wow, and it's funny to hear you say that, because now that's kind of like even like a DJ. A DJ really don't know what to play unless he see what the crowd is doing.
That part.
So we were able to gauge what our community was doing to say, okay, girls like dancing like that. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, they like popping, so we're gonna make sure that this beat is something that the girls could pop their ass to.
Right.
So it's kind of like right now, what do we have to gauge off of to say, hey man, we need to make something to entertain this movement or this crowd or this generation? What are they doing? Like, what would you think?
I would think like this here too, is that to go in that direction, it would be more of like see, back then the production was the steering wheel. We set the tone of what an artist was going to sound like on the beat. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, back then, even though me and Manny, whoever, we could use the same fucking sounds, but the way we use them don't be the same.
Period.
To where, like, we'll sit up here, like back then, we'll make a record and be like, boy, this sound like some shit fucking Outkast would be on. Or it could be like, nigga, this sounds some shit that motherfucking Scarface would be on. Or this may sounds like some shit that motherfucking Mystical would be on. You know what I'm saying? But like right now is that everybody wants the same shit. They don't want to change up nothing. It's like some of the shit that I make, I'll be like, man, where the fuck I'm gonna get this to? Because sometimes it's to the way it been dumbed down so much. To
Whenever I say that,
right,
who can I get this to? That mean that track is special.
Right.
That mean that motherfucker special. We be like, man, who can get on this shit? Because
you,
everybody who walk in the room is looking at you like with that frown, that look
they're not gonna know what they're like. Who in the fuck who gonna do something?
And when you can't figure out who gonna get on it, that lets you know that motherfucker special.
And that's why they always ask you, man, who that for? They don't be like, give that bitch to me, like, man, who that for? To where like you specifically made that for somebody.
Yeah.
This is really what's coming out of our brain, bro.
We don't have that no more.
Right. Yeah, they want something that's going to remind you of something that's either in the top 100 or the top 50 or the top 10.
Who going to be the one to take the chance? Because I'm telling you, like right now, the success of producers always come from, and even artists, it always come from when you sitting up here following the trend, the next great producer is going to be the one who set the new shit to do.
Yes, every time. Yeah.
That kind of flows directly into the next question that I had for y'all too, man. Legendary. How do you become legendary? Is it based off of what you just said right there, KL? You got to be cutting edge and change the game. What is it that allowed y'all's music to stand the test of time when other contemporaries, we don't hear or see them ever again?
Time. When you've been in the game as long as Toomp and I've been, like I said, Fresh is in this conversation as well. Even though we don't say his name, he's in this.
Definitely.
Damn right.
So when you were in this fucking and still to this day, nigga, I put my fucking first record out in 89. 89. So when you have the catalog of work, when we did the verses, when we did, I mean, listen, when we did the battle, me, you, and Fresh, right?
Yeah.
You fucked me up when you dug in the Shadi crib. I'm like, fuck, I forgot he did that shit.
Yeah.
See, when you can go back and hit a motherfucker and be like, God damn, man, I forgot he did that shit. God, it just lets you know.
Yeah.
Your transition in your time. And then the shit he was making, he set the tone of, this is the new shit to do.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
When you don't have that, you know, you just hot for the moment, waiting on the new shit to do.
And it's a blessing to have that artist that's ready to go there with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Instead of trying to get something that sound, once again, like what's in the top 100. When you got that artist who say, Matter of fact, put that bitch to the side. He'd be like, ooh, boy, we finna shout the world.
Yeah.
Because this one of the dopest ones out of my whole folder that I know stands out, and he's in love with this.
Yeah.
Right.
Most likely, the label be like, oh, you got the first single. Oh, my God, man. That's like the best feeling in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
So a part of that, like you asked, B, is really, man, like you say, is this shit was a hobby at first. Once we found out that we knew, like, oh shit, we do this, and then we get on the phone with each other for hours, like, hey man, I'm stuck or whatever. So it wasn't no YouTube. We were giving each other tutorial and holding up the phone for moms and whatnot.
Right.
When you gonna get off that phone? Mom, I'm still trying to learn how to work this machine. So all that when all that was happening, man, we wasn't thinking about no checks. We didn't know that didn't know that this shit would you could take care of families doing this shit.
Right. The checks was the goddamn not what word I want to use. The checks was just like we put like when you receive something that you're not expecting and it's good to you. That's what the checks was like. Man, we can really make money off this shit
because it was already fun. It was just fun. It's like that shit. And most of us who are into that come from the gaming world because it takes patience. You got to be a lightweight geek just to even sit down and figure something out. Right. And you got to have that mentality of, oh, you ain't going to beat me. Okay. How many times you done played a game and went through that certain stage? I done seen people give up. Be like, man, I don't like that game. Me, I'm sitting there. I'm going to keep on fucking with it to get to that next level.
That's right.
So when we producing, we in front of our MP or our computer screen, we always trying to take ourselves to the next level. And even right now, I'm 52 and I'm still, people say, hey man, make me some shit sound like Dope Boy in the Trap. I might could give you some of them elements, but this shit's still gonna be 2022. I don't care what you say. I'm trying to go to the next level, man.
But sometimes, put it like this here, Toon. They don't, see some of these artists do not understand that the artists you work with bring that shit out you. I would have never did Down for My Niggas if I wouldn't have heard how pissed he was when he put that call in.
Okay.
I would have never did that record because I'm gonna tell you that song when I did that record, right? I had this Isaac Ike moves up, chop that motherfucker up.
Dun 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 dun.
And I already had it. Look, the motherfucker was already chopped. I just finished chopping it up. Phone ring. Hello. These motherfuckers, boom, 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 blah, call Matt, you have a beat right, I'm on my way. It just,
that should be.
It didn't even,
you hear this shit?
It didn't even register to me what the fuck I was doing. It's just that I went through the pads, and it's ironically that the order of the sample, how the record plays, I just went, but I just found the rhythm of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I just found the rhythm of that, but it took for this motherfucker to be like, soon as he said, these motherfuckers.
That boy hit each one of them notes 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 8, da, 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 da. Yeah, that's 9 times.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Right.
Listen, nigga. Straight fucking classic, boy.
Right. And the thing about it was, it went from, hello, these motherfuckers. If he would have said, yeah, I'm about to pass over there right quick, have some.
You would have made a whole nother track. Wow.
These motherfuckers.
Yep.
And he was hot.
And that's real. I'm gonna tell you, B, the moment and what's going on around you definitely play a major part. Because I even I remember, I think they say the labels were trying to get CeeLo to make another Crazy record.
Really?
And he was like, yeah, but you know, just something in that vein. And he was just like, hey man, I was going through a divorce. Like that shit came from the heart. You know, I had to, hopefully won't go through another situation to do that. But hey man, y'all gotta understand that was a real personal song record. When I wrote that. Like that if you can make that feeling happen again. But I think something when he made "Fuck You," which ended up being another hit, that might have been influenced from an experience he may have gone through. But yeah, man, what's happening around you plays a major part. Even You Don't Know Me, like it's a lot of records. I would say Dope Boys in the Trap. A lot of those stuff play a part just listening to Tip and them talk about shit that's going on in the hood. You know what I mean? Just hearing the conversation with the headphone, one on and one off. Fucking with the beats, but listening to everything. Everybody smoking in the studio, drinking, just that whole thing. And that's what we used to feed off of.
Okay. When did you find yourselves being the most inspired in the studio? Was Down for My Niggas the main time that you just like, or were there any other times that the spirit hit you and you couldn't even control it, the music just happened?
Move, bitch. When I got the call and say they want, when Fiend signed with Rough Riders, and they said, nigga, you got to make some shit like this for X. Move, bitch was DMX beat.
Oh, I could hear that. That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
When they said, cause it was a beat that I made for Jada, and they heard it. But the fucked up part about it was, we didn't have the internet to where we was able to, okay, let me do this, make this change in email. Nah, we had to fucking fly that shit, CDs,
yes, man,
FedEx, and then he was at the tail end of his album. But when they heard it, they were like, man, you got to make some shit like this for X. I'm like, what? Hold up.
Oh, so how that story happened? Because all that was under the Def Jam umbrella. So you think Luda, the A&R heard it and passed it to Luda? Yeah, this is a hell of a story.
But see, listen, when they say make some shit like this for X, so it instantly, because the Jada shit was done, because they wanted me to just make some transitions and take this part out, which I wasn't thinking to where I could have just left all that shit in and y'all take it out. But it got to the end of Jada had to turn his album in, and I missed it. And I didn't send a beat I didn't send a Move beat to them for X. But Luda was on tour with Outkast after his first album. After what was his first album?
Incognito or Back for the
First. Was it Back for the First Time?
Yeah, Back for the First Time, I think. It didn't.
Fat Rabbit.
Yeah, I think that was Back for the First Time, if I ain't mistaken.
Yeah. The one Fantasy was on.
Yeah, that was the very first album.
Okay, yeah, it was after that one. So he hit me up. It was like, KL, boom, 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 you know. Down there working on the album, you holler at me, because they Outkast and Luda, they came to New Orleans. So I gave him a CD, and that beat was on it. The Move Bitch beat was on that bitch. He heard that motherfucker. Like, man, who this motherfucker open? I'm like, yeah. And he was like, when we get off tour, I'm coming by you to record that bitch. We recorded that record in my house. I mixed it in Patchwork.
Nice.
My God. What about you?
On 2-inch.
2-inch.
We recorded on D888s. And I got them because that's what Pimp C used.
Yeah.
And I gave it to them and they transferred that
Tascam.
Right.
Shout out to Tascam.
But that's what it was, though.
Wow. What was the question again?
The spirit hit you and you knew it was time to jam, and it just came flowing through your body into the track.
What you know? Ooh. Yeah, because and they basically put the pressure on me. It was like, yo, you know, Tip is the star in this new movie that's about to come out called, you know, ATL. And right along with the release of this movie, we want to make sure that this album is done, this King album, and we're gonna run the first single concurrent with the promotion of this movie.
My God.
So that's when it was like, okay, boy, out of all this time I just been doing this shit just on the strength and how I feel and when I feel. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, now this shit feel like a job because I've been sent on a real assignment.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's different. And it's a certain amount of pressure. I got that from Big Brother too. But that song right there, then that's when shout out to Craig Calman and Mike Karen, Atlantic. They was like, hey, Toon, we need a big record. It's got to be big. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was one of the first. Just got in there and got to cooking, man. And my homeboy showed me how to work Reason. Shout out to my man Wando Rio.
Yeah,
he showed me how to get on that Reason. When we put that with the MP.
You did that on Reason?
Yeah. Well, the music was on Reason, but the beats was on the MP. Sync them joints together. Yes, sir. Crazy. And when we turned it in, man, I just knew it. Time Tip haven't even put the verses on there yet. When he did the hook, that's when we was at the studio over there off of Chattahoochee, which is over there with 2 Chainz now. Street Exec now. But that's when Tia got it right after BMF and them had to build it, and Tip and them got it. And so we was over there, and man, just when people heard that hook over that track with no verses, everybody just walked in the room with that look like, my God, what have y'all niggas done?
That's it.
You know what I mean? Everybody had the same look on their face, and that's when I was like, okay, yeah, this. And ever since then, that song right there ended up being one of the biggest records ever, in rotation all over. Khaled called me from Miami. I forgot what club he was DJing at. And he was like, Toom, man, you guys got one. I promise you. He said, hold on for a minute. Don't hang up. He said, watch what the crowd do when I cue this shit in. And he set the phone right there where I could hear. And he was like, yeah. What y'all know about this? And the crowd went crazy, man. He said, boy, y'all out of here. Khaled I don't know how he got my number, but yeah, he called me. And L.A. Reid even had to call me about
your
that.
Your transitions, bro.
Thank you, bro. Damn bass line up in there.
That shit remind me of some Isaac Hayes shit. You know, Isaac had them strings.
Yeah. See, that's that Mayfield transition. I just put a little bit more with them synths.
Man, that transition, your transitions be on some other shit.
Yeah,
fuck,
man.
And
it's wild because L.A. Reid had called me and I thought he was playing. You know, he was like, yo, you know, it was one time I was at the studio after the song was just doing what it do. It might have been like 1 a.m. Phone rung. Hey, Toom, what's going on? I'm like, nothing. Looking at the number, like, who is this? What's happening? Man, this LA, man, I just want to congratulate you, boy. You got a fucking smash. Yada, yada, yada. I said, man, y'all nigga play too much.
Man, get out of here. You hung up on Reid?
I hung up on Reid, bro. And that nigga Shakir called back. Shakir Stewart, rest in peace, brother.
Yeah.
He said, hey, man, what you doing, man? He said, man, you just hung up on the bus. I said, man, I thought niggas were playing, Shakir. He said, hell no. Then he got back on speakerphone.
Yeah.
And they was just congratulating me on the song, bro. And that's when I knew. And that's a little bit after that, LA was in my studio, bro, getting a song deal with Def Jam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that song opened doors, bro. So what you know, definitely. That's why even Ye had to mention it on his interview. Like, that was one of them records that really cracked through the ceilings, bro, for real.
Okay, fellas, being that y'all had the MPs, the analog situations, all the way up into your reasons and your logics and everything, Fruit Loops, everything that's going on now, how do y'all feel like this digital age has made production easier for people to just get into it? And then also, do you feel like it's watered the game down or improved the game?
That's a beautiful question, B.
I'm going to tell you like this here. It definitely made it easy to produce records because it's like you look at the content of lyricism now, right? If they would have put how records and was recorded vocally back then, they were like, oh man, I can't. That shit ain't for me. And the thing about it, if they understood, if you had to, and I just asked this thing was scratched not too long ago, but I said about DJing. But it's like I always say, if today's producers was to learn how the shit was done back then and apply both,
niggas would be dope.
You'll be different. You got listen to me, Beehive. Nigga, I'm listening to the fucking Chronic album, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out how in the fuck am I going to make a 4-track sound like that shit. We been through that.
Tascam 488, the 8-track. We was with the little EQ on there. We might have had about 4 bands to EQ with, and we still, like you said, that was our template. How to get that shit to sound crispy like the West Coast.
A cassette tape about this thick, trying to make it sound like some shit that's on this much shit. And the thing about it is that it made it easy. Now, it's good and a bad with it. They're just like, you look at the DJs today saying that, man, y'all all that fucking push button DJ shit and y'all doing this and doing that and all that stuff, coming back in the days and doing that. But one thing I would say that, okay, all of the old school DJs would you rather carrying your crate of records in the laptop or bringing all them fucking crates? Pick a side.
Exactly.
So if you had to take one with the other, but it made it easier. And the thing about it is, for me, I learned how to play from that era. Opposed to like right now, I can snatch a MIDI pack and take some chords and just drag them on the track that's already played.
Yeah, man.
It takes the creativity out of it. That's why I like a lot of producers now. That's why the sound the same. To where we spending $100, nigga, taking a chance on. But I bet you they have some dope shit on this album. Just looking at the album cover.
Yeah.
And buying and paying fucking $40 for that bitch, and you don't get nothing but a hi hat.
Yeah, that's real.
See, these are the chances that we took. And the thing about it, we had to
set them drum packs on CDs. There's a hope that you get some good drums out of there, man.
And we had to. Everything about how we did records then, we had to make that. It was no TV dinner cooking like that.
That's real.
You had to cook that shit.
Yeah.
Like an ASR-10. I don't know if that's a computer. I mean, that's a keyboard that you may hear about a lot, from Timbaland, Pharrell, to all the greatest that have touched the ASR.
Yeah.
And when you cut that keyboard on, there's nothing there. It's a clean slate. It's all about what you're gonna do.
Right.
Are you gonna get this shit from another keyboard? Are you gonna sample it from a record? Or you might just have a stack of discs that it came with, but that still wasn't enough. So you had to get hella creative, man. And that's what, to answer your question, it watered it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
It watered it down because it got to the point to where cats with no skills could really just dive into it.
Yeah.
Just by clicking a mouse. You know what I mean? You had beats that were made with no musical abilities or no knowledge of theory.
Right.
That's why some songs, you know, like now you got a few of the young cats who get it, but back then when some of those beats come out, I used to be like, hey man, you know, you got that 808 is out of key.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't know that that's going against the grain, or do you hear where that 808 fades out? Now you got this other one coming in, like you need to make that mono there. Yeah. So it's a few things where you could tell that they were just dropped into this shit and don't know anything, you know, even just input and output. Damn. Okay, if you plug this in and this in the input, you even understand input and output.
Exactly.
But a lot of people haven't physically touched jacks before and plugged shit in. They don't get it. So, and it went from having to have a $15,000 or $20,000 budget to have a full-fledged studio to produce, not to record, but to create music. The MPs were like 4,000.
Just the fact that you said that, I have to bring it up because as soon as you said that, it hit me, right?
It hit you, yeah. Please speak on it.
When Mr. and Busta did the song, right? I never forget this. This is one of my moments that I'll never forget in my hip hop career, right? The No Limit studio was probably about the size of this room right here. Probably a little bit smaller. Set up the same way. But Mr. and Busta did a song, right? Busta came to Baton Rouge. So Busta came in the studio. And so we went to playing some songs, like the song that Mystical just recorded, and we got, this, boom, 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 boom. So we like, shit, man, I'm ready to rock when we go into the studio. I'm like, nigga, this it. This it. You're like, hold on. You mean all of that shit y'all was doing? Y'all did it on this? And we had 102R and 4/8, my nigga. And he was like, how much all this shit worth? I'm like, everything combined, like 12, 15 grand. He said, nigga, I spent that a week on the blackout rate. He called Chris Lighty B. Chris Lighty came too. It was Busta, Chris Lighty.
Rest in peace, Chris.
And,
good guy, man.
And Spliff.
They had to see that shit.
He like, B, boom, boom, boom. You're like, tell him what you, I said, yeah, everything is like 15, 20 grand. He like, man, y'all, this is what we actually record our music on and mix off this shit here.
He thought he was going somewhere bigger, huh?
Yeah, he was like, man, I'm ready to hit the studio. I'm nigga, this it.
You be there.
He was like, yo, y'all do all of that shit in here? I'm like, yeah.
My God.
And he was like, dude, that's when I realized how much studio time was. He said, nigga, I spent 15 racks for a block-out rate for a week.
Oh, yeah, them budgets were hell back then, bro.
And y'all,
$1 million videos and shit.
Yeah, you like, y'all block-out rate, my block-out rate is what y'all pay. My block-out rate for a week is what y'all paid for your entire studio.
Yeah.
You're like, God damn.
So it's balances of it. Like you say, it watered it down, but sometimes you just got to adapt, because like we say, we both fuck with software as well.
Yeah.
Right.
But just where technology is. Same thing even with video guys, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now you got cameras, you got iPhones that look just as good as a big film camera that you pay $20,000, $30,000 for.
Yeah, how about better?
Better, yeah. You know what I mean?
Now you videos on camera.
Yeah. Batteries may last longer. Listen, you had to keep changing film, changing tapes or whatever. So now the same way that producers came out from the basement up to now you got video directors now.
Right.
Who, because once again, back to the software world. So it's really like adapting to the future.
Yeah.
If you got a few iPhones or a few decent cameras, it's about how funky you can get with the editing program. Now,
right.
Somebody could give you that. Same way a motherfucker give you Fruity Loops.
Yep.
Right. They give you this cool, whatever, what some of those edit programs are in video.
Yeah, fucking Cool Edit.
Final Cut.
Final Cut. There you go. Final Cut Pro and all Premieres.
Yep.
Now you got somebody who could give you that just like FL.
Exactly.
And so next thing you know, if you funky with your editing, next thing you know, somebody from a major label will see your work and be like, damn, dude, who did that video? Oh, man, what? How much y'all get that video for, man? He did it for $5,000, but it looked like some $100,000 shit.
Exactly.
Right.
That's new. So it happens, it's on a lot of different scales of this shit. Just like, the taxi drivers now, they complaining, you got Uber now.
Got Uber on your ass.
So a lot of this shit,
Airbnb, the hotels, right.
Exactly. So now it's kind of like, we don't want to sound like no old man just, running from the change and the evolution, but hell yeah, we just got to adapt, man, and move forward with this shit because boy, we'll be all day just it's different though. It's different.
And just think about this here too to add to that. You know why like singers back then will always be considered as the best singers?
Oof, I love this.
Talk to me.
It wasn't no flying hooks.
Mm-hmm.
They had to sing every single part.
Yeah.
Harmonies. If that motherfucker came twice on a record or 3 times, they had to sing every part that many times. Every time a hook came on a record, they had to sing it that many times. So about time they did all this recording, when they came out the booth, they knew the record. They could left from first recording that record straight to the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they had to actually sing it. And even like you look at like auto-tune, right? Mm-hmm. Auto-tune was created for pitch, for voice correction.
Yeah.
Meaning that you could hit a whole fucking song, right? And you probably just kind of off just on that one word. Just go back and just fix that one word.
Yeah.
That's why like some of the performances, when you hear them performing live, it's not like it is on a record.
On the record, right.
Because it fixed it for them. It made them perfect. Imperfection sometimes be the dopest shit.
Come on now.
Till Rock, I edit mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was Mantronic. Yeah.
Right.
You wasn't able to edit me. Like, Mantronic I think Mantronic was the first one really doing this shit on the computer. Him and the group Ready for the World.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Kraftwerk was a little before them, but Mantronic, when everybody was on MPs, around like when the MP came out around 87, 88, Mantronic had the damn computer set up.
It was in a Scream video.
Yeah, he was using computers then. I forgot what somewhere it was.
I think it was Scream.
My God.
Yeah.
Now, before we get up out of here, Empress, Empire, Entertainment, break it down to me, KL.
Tube, I need your help on this, my nigga.
Word? What you got going, Poppin'? Yeah, I'm with it.
Well, we launching a all-female label, my nigga.
That's hard.
All female only.
What you mean, just artists or the staff?
No, artists.
Okay.
And it's a label to where like, like just mainly hip hop is like is a male driven. They have some fire-ass females out here, my nigga.
Gang of them.
And that's why that's one of I'm out here looking. You know what I'm saying? And and it just don't have to be rap. You know what I'm saying? But there's a label to where a female to where it's gonna be all about them. It's gonna be all about them, strictly female only. You know what I'm saying? And
damn, who came up with this concept, man? That's actually unique.
Sadiq.
Wow.
What up, though, Sadiq?
Sadiq, what's happening?
Hey.
That's an incredible concept. I dig that, man. I love to be able to play my part. Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like I was telling Beehive that it's different about how females were when we came up, to where like they had to stand their grounds against men. And they had to punch their way through just to prove like, look. But it's different now, to where like you have to put even more development in them.
Yes.
And right now, you know, that's why they sell a look before the talent. So I'm like, I don't give a fuck how you look. Let me hear you.
There you go.
I can make you look good.
Yeah.
But I can't make talent out of you.
Ain't that the truth?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you gonna stumble across a superstar fucking around like that, K.
Right.
For real.
You can take somebody as long as you have what's needed. You know what I'm saying? And that is the voice. Because if I was on the phone with you, if I was on the phone with a female and never saw her and not here, I'm like, fuck. The last thing I'm thinking about is what she look like.
Yeah.
Is what I hear.
Because you already heard her, yeah.
I didn't heard it. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is that now when I see her, if she needs some work, okay, we can fix that.
Yeah.
But as long as you don't fuck that voice up, we gonna be good.
Yeah, we
That's
can go
right.
places. That's dope.
If they trying to get down with it, how do they contact you though, KL?
You can hit us on
Sadiq,
Empress
get in here.
Sadiq.
Get on up in here.
Instagram, Empress Empire Entertainment.
Okay.
Instagram, Empress Empire Entertainment.
Yes.
Bet that up.
All right.
E3.
Yes, sir.
And tune, what I was just speaking upon, like I'm looking for some special, artists, man. I'm just, like I said, I don't give a damn how you look. Once I hear the voice, I'm good with it. I'm gonna just need your assistance on some production on it.
Man, that's easy. That's the easy part. And I've run across a lot of female artists,
and if
man.
you find some.
Yeah, I've ran across a lot of them. Now you give me a reason to reach back out to them. You know what I mean? And honestly, they don't tell her how many go hit me after they see this interview and say like, "Hey, Toop, what's happening? I heard what your boy was talking about." So yeah, ain't no telling how. The phone's gonna blow after this shit hits. For sure.
Females only.
Yes, sir.
To where they can have a platform to where they don't feel like they have to compete with men on the label. Because normally, like when you look at every situation, like Mill with No Limit, well, JD didn't have a lot of artists. So it pretty much always like the Brat, like the only female. He didn't have no full stock. Like No Limit had like fucking 20 goddamn male artists. Like how it dominated with Rough Rider, with Eve and
Gangsta Boo, 3-6 and Lil Chat. Yeah.
So, but it's like they wouldn't have to worry about competing for a dominant spot. And most females, there was always, when they was on these type of labels, they was kind of like co-signed by the fellas on the label.
Yeah, they weren't really standing on their own too
Right.
tough. Yeah, I feel you on that.
And with this label, they wouldn't have to worry about it. So all they have to do, you bring your talent. Now you're gonna have your fair shot of competing with other females.
Yeah. I hear
Not
that.
saying that if we bring you in, you're gonna be there. But the talent is gonna win the starting job of this here.
That's right.
But just
Dope.
the fact that you here, you're on a roster. And you're just gonna have to be developed. And your time gonna come.
I feel that.
Just pay attention to what's going on with the one that's before you. So when your time comes, you will see this.
Nice.
Soon, you got to let your folks know anything, man.
Hey man, got a few things dropping, you know.
Talk to me.
I try not to speak too much on them until I got a Rick Ross record on the way. Pretty
Question.
hard.
I saw you in there with Spitter.
Oh yeah, oh man, me and Spitter did like 3 joints that night at Jermaine's studio. Yeah, Currency, Spitter, crazy vibe, man. You know what I mean? And we connected on a few of his mixtapes, but yeah, I think on this one right here it's about to be crazy, man. Yeah, I let a few of them out. Yeah, I'm glad you just remind me of that one. Yeah, that's something else that's on the way. Shoot, man, you know, I got a few things on the way. I'll be able to talk more. You know, you already know.
We'll be here for
I'm part of this, man. You know what I mean? So
Already.
y'all are definitely, I'll keep y'all updated on what the next move. It's all about KL on this one, man, you know.
Now, I'm glad that y'all
man.
had me to come, man, because
Hell yeah. Yeah, man, we looking forward to this, bro.
Every time you touch down, KL, you already know how we get down in this thing, man.
Well, every time I touch down, he like him, Toom Banner, like New Face. These are the first motherfuckers I'm calling.
Up, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
all day. New Face.
Yeah, man, it's good. Like,
so what's going on? Your boys in town, right?
yeah, they're in town.
So you DJing, or I know you DJing for Mystical at one point, right?
Yeah, I'm there to DJ for Mystical.
Okay,
set.
there it is. There it is. I'm glad you're keeping busy, man. I ain't gonna lie, I be wanting to see what artists need a DJ. I love to stay on there, you know, get out there and travel a little bit. Any big time artists paying at least $1,000 a night? At least $1,000 now. It got to be worth me leaving home.
Yeah.
I help put your show together and everything. But yeah, man, I love that DJing, man. You got to keep that going. That's a part of our shit.
And that you got something, because I'm about to wrap this thing up.
That's pretty much it.
And that's just what it is. Beehive Radio, shout it, DJ Toom, KLC. Holla at y'all in a minute, man. We gone.
Mm-hmm.